What's up, guys? Josh here, 6 Up Tabletop, making a new video. We're doing Wild Riders. It's been a while since I've done a Wanderers video or anything in regards to the elves. For Cities of Sigmar, we're going to be reviewing Wild Riders. We're going to be taking a look at the stats. We're going to be taking a look at the strengths and weaknesses of the unit. And we're going to be looking at comparable units that you might choose to run instead, or how does the Wild Riders stack up to other comparable units. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. Taking a look at Wild Riders. Some of the guys I just finished. Kind of went with like a off blue for the deer, the shield, and the cloak, the leaves. There we go. The flag. Got one guy with the horn. So it's kind of probably painted these guys pretty decently happy with how they turned out. Alright, and now let's get into the stats of the unit. They have a 12-inch move, 2 wounds each, 8 bravery, which is surprisingly more than the usual 7 for the units, and they have a 5-up save. Models are armed with hunting spears, this one right here, and the deer also attack with their hooves. So you have some multi-profile action going on. The spear's 2-inch range is pretty common. 2 attacks, 3 to hit, 4 to wound. Rend -1, 1 damage. Then you have the hooves are range 1, 2 attacks, force to hit, force to wound, no rend, 1 damage. 1 unit is your Wild Hunter leader, usually depicted in the box. Has a larger crown, and usually you equip them with a sword. Counts as a hunting spear. They get 1 extra attack, so they get 3 attacks with the spear profile. There's a standard bearer that comes when you make a group of 5 of them, and that standard bearer adds 1 to the bravery. So you could go from bravery 8 to bravery 9. Then 1 model and 5 can have a horn, and the horn gives you +1 to run and charge, which is actually super great, especially if you run them as living cities. And you can come off the edge, getting +1 to charge. Now you're making 8-inch charges instead of 9. The one ability they have is Unbound Fury, which says the hunting spears have a rend characteristic of -2 instead of 1, and a damage characteristic of 2 instead of 1 if the unit made a charge and move in the same turn. So this kind of sets the basis of what you're going to want to use these units for. We'll cover that in their strengths and weaknesses, but you want to have these guys charged as much as possible in order to maximize the amount of damage they have from their attacks. Alright, let's cover the strengths and weaknesses in the next section. Alright, going over strengths and weaknesses, we'll cover the strengths of the Wild Riders first. They're costed 130 points for 10 wounds for the squad is pretty good. Their damage output is pretty good if you can take advantage of their charge. So for 130 points, I think this unit actually is a value. You can protect them if you're playing living cities. You can bring them off the edge using the Pathwalker's ability. So that's a way to help protect the point cost. Another bonus, another strength for this unit is that they have by charging, it greatly increases their damage. Doubling the damage and doubling the rend helps them clear off a lot of units that they would have trouble with earlier. And you could fight up. Basically, this squad at 130 points could potentially kill or take a lot of wounds off something that might cost a little bit more. A pro is bravery, so the bravery 8, and then with the band would be bravery 9. So you're a lot less likely you're losing these guys to battle shock. The last strength I'll cover is the 12-inch move. Not really much to say about that, but it's always good, sometimes late game, to have late in the rounds, to have a unit that can move fast to help capture some points. Alright, taking a look at the weaknesses. The 5-up save is not great. You see it across most of the elf factions. So for a 5-up save, if they get caught and you don't select them to fight first, there's a chance that they do get killed and you lose the points. Weakness is that they are reliant on charging. So that kind of ties into the save aspect, but that's not necessarily the case because you can get shot at and your save could be effective. But basically, needing to charge makes you need to play this army aggressively. There's some builds of Wanderers and other Cities of Sigmar armies that you may want to slowly move up the board, but having these guys basically need to play aggressive to get the most out of their damage output can be seen as a weakness, forcing you into one aspect of the game. And no range. A couple of the Sisters of the Thorn, the other spellcasting cavalry that is basically the double of this box, they have additional javelins that they can throw. Now these aren't made to be ranged units, but that is an aspect where it's maybe most of your army might be ranged. These guys do have no range. So that's the strengths and weaknesses, and we'll cover unit comparisons in the next section.
Alright, first alternative option we have at 100 points is Frigil Pistoliers. These guys do have a lot lower bravery, similar move, wound, and save statistics. As you can see here, they do have pistols that you can shoot, and they have the saber and pistol butts in melee. So there is a similar melee profile, maybe not as strong without the rend. They don't get a bonus to charge. However, they do have abilities that allow them, when they make a charge move, it can shoot. And then you can reroll run and charge units. So these guys may be a little more valuable in terms of rerolling charges right off the edge, or completing charges and having a little bit more harass with your bullets. So these would be more of a range alternative, but they are a points discount at 100 points. So that is a good option that you would take alongside or instead of Wild Riders. Another alternative you can take are Drakespawn Knights. Now these offer a little bit different. They're a little bit slower, same wounds, roughly the same bravery, but their save is much better. As you can see, as I'm showing here, they have the jaws and they have attacks with their lances. Now they only get one attack as opposed to Wild Riders have two. They have the same ability. If you charge, they get the double damage, double rend. So these guys they are 170 points. They'd be a little bit more of a tanky option if you're willing to spend those points. I think they may play a different role. They may be something you want to get stuck in more with, whereas Wild Riders, you might just try to get that initial shock value, and then if they die, they die. Third thing, we're going over Dark Riders. Now these guys have a similar profile. One better save, 14-inch move, 2 wounds, 4-up save. So for the Dark Riders, they have 3 crossbow shots each. Now it's 5 to hit, 4 to wound, but you will have some additional harass, so they do fall more along the Pistoliers route. They are 110 points, so a little bit more expensive than the Pistoliers, but a little less expensive than the Wild Riders. They have additional charge bonus, kind of like the Wild Riders, except they do not get any rend on their spears. So armies with good saves will have a lot better reason to shrug these off, and they do have some bravery shenanigans in case that is something you're trying to incorporate into your army. So Dark Riders are definitely an alternative to think of, a little bit better save with some ranged attack, but not as much melee finesse.
Josh for 6-Up. Hope you enjoyed the video for the Wild Riders. Hopefully this gives you some more decisions. If it's something you want to add, for me, I have them because I love to play my Wanderers. But if you're building a cities army, you're taking a look and say, hey, there's other options I can take a look at, I would definitely take a look at the Pistoliers. I think they're a great option. But I think Wild Riders do have some good damage that they can put out as well. There's also, you could look at Stormcast units, but I don't want to go over those as there's a lot of different changes on a lot of those. do cost more points than the 130 you'd be paying for the Wild Riders. So with that, Joshua 6 Up Tabletop. If you guys got any comments or suggestions for units to cover, let me know. With that, Wanderers is finally completed, and I want to do some more videos, kind of bringing the Wander unit playlist that I have up to speed with the most recent Sigmar, City of Sigmar changes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.